Today we're going to be making potato salad, old-fashioned potato salad. And you're going to need a slotted spoon of some kind, a medium saucepan with about 1 inch of boiling water. You don't want the pan to overflow after you add the eggs. Make sure this is all the way up to boiling. And we're just going to drop 6 eggs into this water. Not literally drop, but set. 19 and 20. Oh, that one is cracked. That's a cracked egg. Okay, we'll be using a different egg. And now that we got those cold eggs in there, we'll turn that back up. Bring this back up to a boil. Okay, once you get this back up to a boil, set a timer for 12 minutes. And we'll turn that down to medium-high after we come to a full boil. There we go. So you don't want the eggs boiling too hard or they'll start bouncing off the bottom, try to crack. Okay, now we'll start on our potatoes. Okay, we have cold water, halfway full in a large pot. 6 russet potatoes. A couple of these were rather small, so we threw in an extra one. So we're starting with 7. And we're not going to peel these, but just wash them under cold water. And we're just going to cut it in half, then cut that in half, then cut that in half, and cut that in half. Do the same to this other side here. And get that out of the way. And you just want it to be about that big. And they will be a little tall, but that's okay, because after you start stirring this, they'll break in half just perfectly into these little squares as you stir it. So that's what your potato salad pieces will look like. No need to thin cut all of these. And if you have any bad spots on the outside of your potato, you want to cut those off too, because this is peel on. You want it to look pretty, be edible. So that ended up being about 4 cups of potatoes once it's all cut up, if you want to measure it that way. We're making this the day before, because tomorrow is Father's Day. We want this salad to sit in the fridge overnight so it can get nice and cold and all those flavors can blend together. It's much better the next day. 6 eggs and 6 potatoes. Or 6 eggs and 4 cups of diced potatoes. Oh, I dropped one. Okay, and then you're going to want to put these into this cold water. Just like that. You don't want to start these out in boiling water, or the outside will slightly cook before the middle, and your texture of your potato won't be as good. And you want to be able to rinse them off, because, see, we washed these pretty good before we started. Oh, I dropped a piece. But look at how much excess starch comes off of those once you give them a double cold bath. Okay, now we're going to drain this and refill this pot back with some fresh water. All right, and you just want about a ½ an inch above the potatoes when you refill it. And if you have some brown spotty ones in there like that, just pick those out before you get started. Oh, there's another brown spotty one. There we go. Make sure all those potatoes look beautiful. Here we go. Okay, so once that timer goes off there, I'm going to use it in the same bowl that I'm going to be using to serve this potato salad in for these eggs. That way we don't have to wash so many dishes. Fill this up with some ice. About 3 cups of ice or 2 cups of ice, and then spoon your eggs right into the top of that. Looks like one of my eggs exploded a little bit. That's what all that foam is right there. Okay, now we're going to fill this with some cold water, just enough to cover the eggs. And then we're just going to let these set aside while we do everything else, because this is going to be what goes in at the very last, because they need to get really, really cold. Then you're going to want to cut an onion while you're waiting for those potatoes to come to a boil. You just want this to be small enough pieces that you don't really have to chew it. Okay, then you're going to need 1 green bell pepper. Wash that, pull the seeds out, of course. Oops. And we're just going to dice that into same size pieces as that onion. Okay, and now that our potatoes have come to a full boil, we're going to set that timer for 10 minutes. Okay. And we'll just leave those on high. And then put your bell peppers into a reserve with your onion. Now we need to dice some pickles. Or 1 super large pickle should do you fine. Okay, that's all we're going to need there. Okay, cut these ends off here. We'll just lay that pickle on its back. And then start cutting up here and then just drag it back. And drag it back. It's pretty much the same you do with a bell pepper. And if you have dill pickle relish, you could use that too, but it won't be quite as tangy. You want to make sure this is pretty small, because the outside edge of a pickle can get pretty chewy. You don't want to have to keep chewing just the peel of your pickle in every bite. Okay. Then I'm going to go back through and just dice this up a little bit finer. We're just making relish on a cutting board, pretty much. Alright, and then add your pickle right in there with your onion and your bell pepper. Okay, I think we're finally done chopping. Okay, while you're waiting for those, we're going to need 1.5 cups of mayo. You can use any kind you want, you just don't want to use Miracle Whip because that has sugar in it. Some people like sweet potato salad, but old-fashioned potato salad does not have sugar. And then you're going to want celery seed. We're going to need 1 teaspoon. Oh, let's put in 1.5. That stuff is really, really good. And the flavor from this doesn't really come out until the next day after it's been moistened in the fridge overnight. And then we're going to want 1.5 teaspoons of pepper. And 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Oh, that was a little short. There we go. Okay, then we're going to mix this together very, very carefully. Seasoned mayo. That's what we just made. Oh, yum, yum, yum. Okay, set that aside for a second because our potatoes are ready to be drained. Do you want to count down? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay, we're going to take these over and strain them into a strainer in the sink, and then we're just going to let them sit there for a few minutes while we prepare the sauce. Bring your empty pan while your potatoes are draining in the strainer back over here. We're going to add this mayo into there. Then we're going to need some yellow mustard. We're going to need a 1/4 cup of this, but we're not going to measure because that's just really messy. Okay. Actually, maybe just a little more. There we go. And then you're going to need some of this really good stuff right here. Pickle juice. I'm just going to want about an 1/8 of a cup. Oh, it smells so good. Maybe just a tiny, tiny splash more. There we go. Okay, and then you're going to want to mix this together. And don't be alarmed if that starts to look weird, because pickle juice is vinegar. And vinegar reacts with cream and makes buttermilk. That's probably why it tastes so good with pickle juice. Mix that together nice and thoroughly. Okay. Now we're going to add our veggies. All those delicious veggies that we cut up. Mix those in. And I'm leaving it on the hot stove for a reason, because you want this to be good and warmed when you're mixing it together. All right, now we'll get those potatoes in there. Now you want to carefully fluff these with a fork, or like you do when you fluff with a fork. If you try to just stir it, you'll end up with mashed potatoes, which might taste really good with the egg salad mixture, but it's not what we're making today. Okay, perfect. All right, now for all the fun stuff, we got to peel some dang eggs. We'll just bring this over here. Now, I just peel it right into the bowl here. You want to crack it all the way around, and then you want to start at the fat end right here. Get it in some cold water, and then right there at the fat part is where that membrane will let go without breaking the egg. And then just peel it right into that cold water. All right. There we go. And then set that aside. Make sure it doesn't have any pieces of shell on it first. And repeat 5 more times. And we're going to drain this bowl into the sink, and we're just going to hold the eggshell back with our fingers while we drain it. Then we're going to rinse it out, and we're going to use this for serving our potato salad bowl. You can use one of these egg cutters to cut your eggs, or if you don't have one of these, if you have a square rack like the ones that they give you for cooling baked goods, then you can just push your egg right through that. I've seen it done, but I've never tried it myself. Should we try it? Let's try it. Probably going to do just one of these. And don't give me a hard time. I've had this rack for a long time. It still has a lot of life left in it. So, I've seen people do this before. Never done it. And push it right through the rack. Let's see. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. Okay, that actually worked rather well. But it did change the consistency of the yolk just slightly. Okay, well, that's how we're doing it this time. Okay, push the rest of those eggs through there. Look at that. That's actually easier than using the egg cutter. Not quite as pretty, but we're mixing it up in a salad, so not a big deal. That's pretty cool. See, you learn something new every day. Okay, then work your way around the edges, just like we did when we stirred those potatoes in. Nice and careful. We don't want to mush those potatoes. My, oh my. This hot pan and hot potatoes and hot sauce help get our vegetables just to the perfect tenderness. Oh my, oh my. It smells good already. All right, and now you're just going to scoop that into your serving bowl. That makes a lot of potato salad. That's enough to take to a potluck dinner. Let me turn the light on so you guys can see what's going on here. Oh, it won't work. Oh, battery's dead. Oh no. Okay, well, let me get this under the light for you. Look at that. Beautiful salad. You're going to want to store this covered in the refrigerator. And I just like to use a plate to cover it with. Just like that. And then you can squish it down, get the air out of it. Okay, we're going to store this in the refrigerator for at least 1 day. I would say 3 or 4 days is perfectly fine too. And we'll be ready to eat tomorrow. All right, we'll see you guys next time.
You've been my star, and I'd be your sky.